Hello, welcome to Newscenter. With me, Parikshit Luthra. The Congress Party is going to hold organizational polls on the 17th of October to elect a new president as it attempts to revive its sagging political fortunes. This will be the first time in 22 years that the party will elect a new president. The last time the Grand Old Party held an election, Sonia Gandhi had beaten Jitendra Prasad by a massive margin to become the president. This time, none of the Gandhi family members are in the fray. However, many state Congress units have backed Rahul Gandhi's return as the Congress chief. Sources say Shashi Tharoor has received a go-ahead from Sonia Gandhi to run for the post. We also learned that Ashok Gehlot is likely to contest. Senior leader Jairam Ramesh has said that anybody is free to contest. It is an open process and no permission is required. We also learned that several senior leaders are considering running for the post as well. Let me go across now to Sandeep Shastri, Vice Chancellor at Jagran Lakecity University, and political analyst Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, how do you see the developments taking place so far? Shashi Tharoor, a member of the G23 group of leaders within the Congress Party, meeting Sonia Gandhi. The meeting was portrayed as a way of taking her approval. Those sources are also saying that Shashi Tharoor was not seeking permission but wanted to actually gauge her mind, and Sonia Gandhi wants to have a free and competitive contest. She will be neutral in this entire development and she will not be putting forth any candidate as such. So these are the words coming in from the Congress Party. How do you see these developments, first of all?
Parikshit, first and foremost, good evening to you and to my good friend Sandeep Ji. My short point will be that these are very positive developments for the Grand Old Party, which has been at the receiving end of a lot of electoral drubbing and organizational atrophy for a long time. There have been serious questions raised even on the leadership capabilities of the party over the last 8 years in particular. So I think one has to look at what I call as the salutary ramifications of these steps being taken. What I want to say upfront is good that the Congress Party is going to have a contest for the president. I know formally Shashi has not yet, announced his candidature, and probably you're going to see Mr. Gehlot being the candidate from, what I would call as the high command support. Either way, I think it's going to be a battle of narratives, and Mr. Gehlot and Dr. Tharoor will have their own idea of how the Congress ought to resurrect itself and take on the BJP and work for the larger concept of development and the idea of India. The flip side is that it also opens up, a lot of opportunities for other people who have been waiting in the wings, Parikshit. For example, in Rajasthan, assuming that Mr. Gehlot becomes the Congress president, Sachin Pilot will probably get what he deserved for a long time. And I think he's been just denied that opportunity on account of whatever political stalemate that was basically becoming a gridlock in Rajasthan. The other part also remains that Rahul Gandhi stepping out from being the Congress president will actually put an end to the BJP's, constant fusillade against the Congress, that it is a dynastic held party. In fact, the Congress could now attack the BJP for having more dynastic people in their party than the Congress itself. And I would think also you could see a lot of positive motivation and revival of what has been a very demoralized spirit within the Congress. Nothing like an election, a contest, a more transparent way to take the Congress party forward. I'm very hopeful. I'm not cynical at all.
All right. Sandeep Shastri, how do you think this election would be if you have Ashok Gehlot on one side, Shashi Tharoor on the other, and can Shashi Tharoor actually be called the G23 candidate? Because we also hear that the likes of Manish Tiwari, Siddaramaiah, Prithviraj Chavan, Bhupinder Singh Hooda, Anand Sharma are also considering contesting for this election, and the G23 is also having consultations among them.
Good evening, Parikshit, and it's wonderful to share the platform with Sanjay Ji. I heard Sanjay Ji out and he made a very persuasive argument. I would make a distinction between form and content. Are we seeing a real election, or are we seeing an election which would appear to be an election but is not an election? I think that's the question. I think one critical question which this election will call is, would we have somebody outside the Gandhi family now? because it seems as if Rahul Gandhi is not keen to contest. And if that happens, is there going to be a candidate officially or unofficially sponsored by the family? Indications seem to be at a formal level that may not happen. And you may have a contest between two individuals who are seen as just now Sanjay Ji said, representing two narratives. But is it a simple question of two narratives is the question? And I'm coming to a larger issue. We have never had a serious election for a party president in the Congress party. The Congress has always believed in a consensus approach because they have believed consensus is the way you maintain the unity of the party. Let's also remember that in this round, a lot of people are talking of the need for a consensus candidate to maintain the unity of the party. So with all this debate, I think it's still early days to say whether it will be a real contest or like Sonia Gandhi versus Jitendra Prasada, will it be just a formal contest? I think we have to wait and watch and see, but there is a definitiveness about at least some change happening in the Congress party if Rahul Gandhi is not going to be the candidate. How would Congress manage in a situation where somebody from the Gandhi family is not in the contest? Will it be a contest between somebody who is a representative of that family and somebody else? Now, all these questions will come up. And I don't think it is as simple as it appears to be. The Congress is in the throes of a change.
Right.
There is a move, at least on the part of the representative from the Gandhi family, to say, I'm not going to contest, in spite of all the pressures being put on him from the party. If he's able to withstand all those pressures and insist that there needs to be a contest, I think there are several layers of the onion which still have to be unpeeled. And I think it's still too early to say whether A, there will be a contest, and B, if there is a contest, is it going to be a serious contest, and C, what are the implications of this contest for the role of the Congress in the current politics of the country, especially vis-a-vis the BJP and also within the forces of the anti-BJP coalition.
Okay. All right. Let me get in Sanjay Jha back again. Sanjay Jha, taking a cue from what Mr. Shastri was pointing out, considering if Rahul Gandhi contests again, or this election seems to be for candidates who are supported by the High Command in one sense, what will be the reaction of the G23?
Parikshit, in my opinion, Rahul Gandhi is definitely not contesting for the post of the Congress president. If he does, I think Mr. Shastri is absolutely right. He will just win it hands down. It will be a no contest. The dichotomy that the Congress is battling within is, while the party is completely dedicated to the Gandhi brand, the country seems to be telling the Congress party that it's about time you brought in changes and experimented with the talent that you have, which is why I believe that if this is going to be a contest between two non-Gandhi people in Mr. Gehlot and Dr. Tharoor, or maybe as even some of the others, as you have speculated, it's good for democracy. Now, I quite understand, why, Sandeep Ji is, feeling skeptical about the end outcome of the entire process. And that is largely because Congress has been, over the last 20 years, been very fossilized when it comes to organizational change, reform, or transformation. So, all those apprehensions are quite justified in a way. But I do believe that the Congress party is now pushing the envelope, because this has been an existential challenge for the party, if not a crisis. And end of day in politics, things can change. I can tell you this for a fact that this will definitely bring the narrative in the Congress's favor. Today, for example, no one can ignore that it is the only national party in India which is actually going to have a contest between people for the post of a president. And this kind of a transparency and a lack of opacity is exactly what some of us have been asking the Congress to do. And secondly, I do believe that even if Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi are no longer the central organizational figures, they will still be star campaigners. They still are huge, owners of what I consider as one of the most powerful brands in India. And Rahul, as he's doing in the Bharat Jodo Yatra, for example, can become an ideological crusader for the party. Now, Parikshit, let me tell you this, there's a lot wrong with our country. And whether it's democracy, the threat to constitution, the whole illiberal elected autocracy culture that we have recently acquired, sectarian distrust, communal stress, the state of the economy, jobs, unemployment, inflation. There are serious problems. India's institutional emasculation is now legendary. Everyone is talking about it. And I do feel people want an alternative.
Right.
And the grand old party is in a best position to become a credible choice. But then people have also said that, if we can only vote for the Congress party, first they can look after themselves. And whether it's Shashi or Mr. Gehlot, I think the party is stepping forward. I mean, this is a time, I think, for the Congress to really ask itself, if I don't resurrect ourselves, then we cannot be out there battling against the very formidable force of the BJP, who doesn't, who have a take no prisoners approach.
Right.
Their Operation Lotus has now become the most, I would say, devious, diabolical political strategy of our times, where even elected governments are toppled. So I think there is a question mark here on democracy and the future of our country.
Right. To get in Sandeep Shastri once again. Sandeep Shastri, we're hearing strong messages in favor of Rahul Gandhi once again. More than 8 to 10 state Congress committees have backed his candidature. They want him to take the mantle of the Congress party once again. How do you see these demands coming in from different parts of the country? Will this have any impact on the Gandhi family?
See, I would look at it in two ways. One, you cannot shrug off the impact of past practices. The Congress has been used to backing somebody from the Gandhi family. So I think that remnants of the past continues to be there. Secondly, even if the Congress units believe that he is not going to contest, it requires them to make this statement that even though he finally does not contest, he is somebody we will all stand by. And this also, in a sense, sends the message that if Rahul Gandhi is not going to contest the election, which I think also, like Sanjay Ji said, is eminently clear, whoever emerges in the contest, or ultimately if you have a consensus candidate emerging, I think the larger looming figure of the Congress High Command will be there something to see. And such strategic moves of appealing to him to take on the presidency, I think is part of that larger story that you see playing out. If you recall, when Sonia Gandhi decided not to take up the CLP leadership and pushed for Dr. Manmohan Singh to be the leader, you would recall that particular meeting of the Congress Parliamentary Party where leader after leader said, no, Sonia Gandhi should continue to be there. So it was more an assertion of loyalty to the party. And today also, if you see this happening for Rahul Gandhi, I think it is that culture, the remnants of that culture which continue. The question is, will the Congress High Command insist on that culture change? Or again, as I said earlier, is it more a change in form rather than change in content? Because if there is no change in content, I think it is old ways in a new form, which would mean no change at all.
All right. Let's see what happens by the end of the month and whether we have any nominations at all as well. Sanjay Jha, Sandeep Shastri, thank you very much for joining us here on Newscenter. We are going to head into a short break, but coming up, an exclusive conversation with Mahindra & Mahindra Managing Director and CEO Anisha on the company's growth plans.